Hey everyone, welcome back to Incognito Commentary. Prettymuch, the boy band that had everything they needed to be the next big thing, has been disbanded. But what went wrong? And more importantly, why should they have stuck around? In this video, we're breaking down the rise, the fall, and the missed potential of a group that could have changed the game. We're breaking it all down, so make sure to stick around. And while you're here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Incognito Commentary for more deep dives and pop culture breakdowns. Let's get into it. So based on what I've come to realize, in the year 2020, the record label that they were signed to, which is, I think is called Psycho label, the Psycho record label, it was dissolved. So that basically means that that record label was no more. It is now a subsidiary of Sony, but it's not a performing label. And I feel like that was the beginning of the downfall for the group. Because when they were signed to the record label, like great things were happening for them. They released their debut single because they were signed in 2016. They released their debut single, Would You Mind? Great, like all of their music, I feel like it's just perfectly crafted. It's just like perfectly infused with multiple different genres. So all of their music was crafted, I think, in my opinion, perfectly. So Would You Mind was the song that they debuted with in 2017 after they were signed to the Psycho label in 2016. They also released 3 EPs with this record label, Phases. Phases is, I think, my top 5, maybe top 2 favorite Prettymuch songs ever. It's just so perfect. The melodies, it's just so good. So they released Phases, they released Intel EP, and pretty much an EP, and they released multiple singles. They went on tour in 2018 and 2019. In my opinion, I think the tours could have been longer, I feel like. But I don't know what's the determining factor of what makes a tour long. I think it has to do with like the demand of the artist. But I personally feel like they could have gotten more promotion and more exposure. I feel like a lot of people didn't know about the group. And I feel like that was one of the other reasons why they didn't work out. It was a lack of promotion and a lack of marketing. So the tours that they went on a tour called Prettymuch Everywhere. And this took place in January 13, 2018 to January 28, 2018. And that's what I'm talking about. A lot of their tours are like a month long. A lot of these other artists are having tours that last 2 years, 3 years. Harry Styles did a tour, the Love on Tour. And his tour lasted for about like 2 or 3 years. So I personally feel like they should have allowed them to tour for at least 6 months, at least 6 to 8 months. A bit longer. They toured for a short period of time. They also went on the Function tour. This tour took place from October 18, 2018 to November 18, 2018. And they went on the FOMO tour. I feel like this is the most popular one I see the fans talking about a lot. And this took place from July to August of 2019. In 2020, before COVID started, they were booked to be a special guest on Camila Cabello's Romance Tour, which was Camila Cabello's first headline arena tour. So I remembered the day when I saw her post. She made a post on Instagram, and they were one of the special guests that were going to be on her tour. And I was super excited because I'm like, this is what is going to propel them forward. This is going to give them a wider audience, and this might be the step that they take that's going to bring them into like global success. And then COVID hit.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus!
COVID hit and dismantled everything. And because of COVID, a lot of things shifted in the world. I don't know if it was because of COVID why the record label that they were signed to got dissolved. But in 2020, the record label that they were signed to, that where they started their careers, where they released their debut singles, they got EPs, they did tours. where I feel like personally their career was at its best, it got dissolved. And that put them in a limbo. But they said that when they left that record label, they were able to leave on their own terms.
But they let you have the name at least.
Yeah, very fortunate.
I don't know how much we can really get into. I don't know how much we can really get into, but in a nutshell, like our first label that we were with, they like dissolved as a company, so we were able to get out with terms.
Because a lot of the times when a label is no more, it's not working anymore, a lot of the times the artists are left out in the cold. They don't get any form of like residuals or any sort of royalties from their music. They aren't set up for success after. They just tend to just fall along the wayside. But they were able to leave on their terms, and I guess they might have had deals where they could get residuals and royalties from their music. So in 2020, they were then signed to a new record label called Sire Records, and they were there for 2 years, from 2020 to 2022. While they were signed to this label, they released the album Smackables. The music that they released in Smackables was different from what they released. It sounded different from Jello and Summer on You and Phases and Would You Mind and 10,000 Hours. It sounded different from that. But I feel like as an artist, when you're making music, your music has to progress and grow with your age. You cannot be making the same music for the rest of your lives. And I feel like them being a part of a new label as well influenced them to make music that it had elements of what they did before, but it was kind of a progression, a heightened progression. It was different. I loved a lot of songs on Smackables. I loved Free. I love Lonely. I love Smackables. There's a lot of songs on the album. Stars. I love Stars. I just love the music on this album. And they didn't get to do like a tour or anything like that, because tours usually are done to promote musical projects by artists. They were unable to do that because the world was completely locked off. It was closed off. But what they did was they did a virtual concert to promote the album. I really loved that concert that they did. I feel like it was very entertaining. I feel like it was very good. But based on what they have said in interviews, they decided to part ways from this label.
Not in a negative light, the puppets of the
you're
show.
Going where you're told to go.
Exactly,
you're going into the sessions that you're forced to go into. And like somebody else is definitely pulling the strings, but now you pull your own strings, but the responsibility and the pressure's on you. So if it fails, there's no one else to blame.
Exactly. But I would rather that pressure. I would rather know that if something didn't go to plan, it was because of me and not because of somebody else.
Because I think they didn't think it was a good match with what they wanted to do creatively. So they decided to depart from that label. And then in the year 2022, which was the same year that they left that label, Nick left the group. And honestly, I'm like, this is going to be the beginning of the end for them. Because there's a lot of groups. There's a lot of musical groups. Once one artist leaves, it's just a matter of time before they end. Like when Zayn left One Direction and other groups out there. So when he left the group, it wasn't the same anymore. The thing about Nick, he added so much to Prettymuch's sound with his pure tone, which was one of the contributing reasons for the group's beautiful harmonies. Everybody in that group are great vocalists and musicians and everything like that. But there's something pure about Nick's tone that just adds to the group and adds to the music. And his vocal range was amazing as well. So when he left, his absence was felt. There was a hollowness I personally feel was left in the music when he was no longer there, when he was no longer a part of the group. And then in 2022, after that said year, they decided that they were going to go independent. And that only lasted for 1 year. While they were independent, they released the album This Thing Called Love in May 26, 2023. and they also released a few singles. They wrote and produced the music. So the creative control that they wanted, that they didn't get while they were at Sire Records, I think they were able to fully experience that while they were doing music independently. But then after a period of time, after they released the music, not long after, I saw that they made a post on Instagram stating that they are no longer going to be a group. And but I kind of felt like it was going to happen. I don't know, I feel like and the music that they did while they were independent, I feel like they were trying to develop their sound and appeal to a more mature audience. But sonically, for me personally, I feel like because it was so different from the music that I fell in love with while, they were signed to their first label, it was so different. It was not my personal favorite, to be honest. And Nick's presence, as I said before, was missed in the music. So, and I feel like, I don't know if it was because of this whole, the music was performing, that was a determining factor also. But based on how the music was being performed and just like the sound of the music sonically, I feel like that was one of the reasons why they decided to call it quits. But allegedly, Austin, a member of the group, he stated that, but not in detail, that another member of the band wanted to leave. They were planning to leave, and financially they couldn't take another hit like that. And so they decided to call it quits. So when you actually look at the time span of their musical career, they were only signed to their first label for 4 years. Basically, they were basically signed to their first label for 4 years. And then they had to find another label because that got dissolved. And they were at that label for 2 years. And then they were independent for 1 year. So I personally feel like the instability of a place for them to rest and sit and grow as an artist caused them to not be successful as a band. I feel like it's just so misfortunate because their music is very good and it adds to the musical scene and to the entertainment scene, and we don't have bands like this that make music like this. Their music was some of my favorites. Just recently, I listened, I create playlists on YouTube of some of my favorite artists, and they are on that playlist. And I'm saying to myself that their music is like so good and it's so entertaining and it's so different, and they have all of the elements. They had all of the elements to be a great band. So when Prettymuch was signed, and Simon created them, and I feel like they were like, okay, this is it, our dreams are going to come true. And then it got dissolved. It was like a rug was pulled from under their feet, and they were left like dangling, and they were just like lost. And I feel like once they were no longer connected to the Psycho label, everything just went downhill. And I feel like what they had in that moment in time, they were trying to find it or maybe try to grow it into another direction, and it wasn't working. They lacked stability. And if only the label that they were signed to didn't get dissolved, I feel like they would be incredibly big, because they're trending on TikTok right now. Like earlier on in the year, they were trending on TikTok, and I was like, oh my God, this is so sad, because if they were together, this could have really helped propel them also. So their instability is what caused the downfall, or was the beginning of the downfall for the group. I think the constant change of record labels affected the group's inner workings, their way of doing things, and their sound. That's why I always say it's so important for musical artists to get signed to the right record labels, because by not doing that, it can be detrimental to their careers and to their dreams, But I do wish them nothing but success on their individual musical journeys, and I hope that they've reached the pinnacle of success that they desire. Where are they now? So Edwin and Zion are releasing music. Edwin, I feel like right now, is the more face forwarding member of the group that's actively like, I feel like gaining like, he's getting like traction on his music, and his music is trending on TikTok. I'm really a fan of his music. He makes pop music and it's very fun, it's very entertaining. He recently released a song, I think it's bachata, like a bachata style influenced song. You guys can go and check it out. His music is really good. Zion makes music. I think last year he was more active in releasing his own music. I don't know if he still does it, but he was releasing new music every Friday on all musical platforms. But right now I see him posting covers on TikTok. So he's still doing something musical. Austin seems to be laying low. I don't see him doing anything. As of right now, I don't know if he's doing anything right now. I think like between 2020 to 2021, 2022, he was like doing paintings and selling paintings. I'm not sure if he's doing that anymore, but he was painting. Nick seems like he's on the track to releasing music, because I saw that he posted a post on Instagram of his home studio. So either he's going to be producing his own music or he's going to be producing music for other artists. And Brandon, I've seen some people are saying that he might be a musical director for a group. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's what they're saying he's doing as of right now. But it seems like he will be releasing music soon as well, because I saw that he posted a post on IG. So we just have to look out to see what they do with their individual careers. Edwin is already doing his thing, and his music is really great. I'm not sure if Austin is going to be making music anymore. I really loved his voice as well. So I just wish them the best, and I hope that they release music soon, because we really love them. We would love if they could do like a reunion, seeing that they were trending earlier this year, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But I just wish them success, and I hope that their own individual careers blossom and bloom and be great. And just like that, another band fades into the background. But was Prettymuch truly done, or did they just not get the push they deserved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this deep dive, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay curious and stay incognito.